Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the program, we are going to show a video. Now, in this video, you will see how brains are programmed. I've always told you about the media and programming you in a certain way that so you can actually start thinking towards one way and a one-way street, and that's the street that the media wants to send you in. The video that we are actually going to see is something, it's in Arabic. You're not going to understand it unless you speak and you understand Arabic. It is a video from Al Jazeera. The host and the guest, they thought they were off the air. I received this video late last night, actually early this morning, about 2 o'clock in the morning. And the video was on YouTube for maybe about an hour or 2 hours at the most. And then it was taken down. It was taken down. They claimed that it was copyrighted. So they took it down. Whoever put it on YouTube and sent me a link to it apparently knew that it was going to be taken down. Well, we downloaded it. It was in the public domain. The interesting thing about this video, actually it confirms what I have been talking about in the last 10 years about the media. It confirms that the media will get you people that you normally will trust, you know, like politicians, nationalist figures, religious figures, and they will present them to you, and the only thing you are seeing is that person giving you the information, and since you respect and revere that person, then most likely whatever he says, you are going to take and not even think about it. It's just going to go directly into your conscience, your subconscious, because you respect that figure. You know, it's like if the Pope talks, you know, most Catholics would probably listen to him. And they're not going to know that he's trying to manipulate them or he is actually following somebody else's instructions or directions, etc., etc. We are talking about a figure in the Arab world that has become over the years, over the last, I would say, 10 years, more of a public nationalist figure. He was, and I respected him, and I still do respect him. But And I always have questioned, why is he with Al Jazeera? You know, why is he giving that service to Al Jazeera? And now this nationalist figure is someone that is revered all over the Arab world as a nationalist. The person I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is Azmi Bishara, who used to be, he's a Palestinian in the what we call the 1948 areas, which is now known as Israel. He was a member of the Knesset, and I guess about 3-4 years ago, Israel have charged him with speaking with the enemy, communicating with the enemy, with Hezbollah, and he was a very active member of the Knesset. He opposed Zionists, and he is more of a nationalist figure, and he was covered extensively by Al Jazeera while he was still a member of the Israeli Knesset. And of course, they covered him while he was going through the process of being harassed and attacked and actually threatened by the Israeli government that they will pull out or pull down his immunity as a member of the Knesset. So the Arab streets and the Arab world went through with Azmi Bishara, with all these things that he was going through. Now remember, and don't make no mistake about it, I am not accusing Azmi Bishara of anything. I still do respect the man. But I did, though, even though I respected him, I did question him associating himself very heavily with Al Jazeera. But you have to understand, Al Jazeera is very much the one that, now he was famous within the Palestinians movement, but Al Jazeera kind of put him and made him famous throughout the Arab world, more like being famous in one state here in the United States, and then all of a sudden CNN picks him up, or Fox, and then he becomes more of a national figure. And he did. He went from being a national figure for the Palestinians into a national figure for the masses in the Arab world. But I always question, because I do have questions, and I've done a documentary. Many of you saw that documentary that I have done with Al Jazeera, and I have talked with Al Jazeera former correspondents and former employees, and they have confirmed to me that Al Jazeera is controlled. Now, one of them said it's controlled by the Zionists who used to be with the BBC, and now they are controlling very much the Al Jazeera. And another person that I, by the way, interviewed, Brahim Bouganmi. He's a Tunisian that I interviewed on my radio program Saturday. And he did say that Al Jazeera is very much controlled by the Qatari government. It is their arm of basically doing whatever they need to do in the Middle East. It's the strongest media in the Middle East. Now, the reason we are going over and over with this, because we have to, I have been telling you how the media actually controls your brains. And what we are about to show you, you will see how they manipulate your brains by bringing this nationalist figure that you revere and respect, and present him to you, and he will present information to you, and you're going to believe exactly what that person is saying. Another figure with Al Jazeera, more than a nationalist figure, I always say, and this is something that I've said all the time, that Al Jazeera and whoever behind it, when you have billions of dollars, you can plan ahead, and you can actually attract or even buy, purchase, that is, any personalities that you want. Now, there's another person that I have questioned very highly, him being associated with the Al Jazeera, which is Qaradawi. Qaradawi, or Sheikh Qaradawi, or Imam Qaradawi, he is more of a figure in the, especially in the Islamic world, the Sunni Islamic world, that is, more of a, like the Pope figure, and more like the Ayatollah in Iran with the Shiites. Now, again, Qaradawi has millions of people respect him, millions of people, or probably hundreds of millions or tens of millions who respect him in the Arab world and in the Islamic world. Now, he's an Egyptian, and he was brought to Qatar because there was some problems with the Egyptian government, so the Qatar very much absorbed him into its, I guess, into its arena. And the same thing happened with the nationalist Azmi Bishara, where Qatar had an Al Jazeera absorbed him after he had problems with the Israeli government. So now you have the Arab world very much listening to Azmi Bishara, who millions do respect, and then you have Qaradawi, who millions also do respect. Well, what we are about to show you is, like I said, it is in Arabic, and those of you who don't speak Arabic, that's okay, just be patient with us. When we come back, we are going to play it again piece by piece and tell you what is going on. Now, what you are about to see is Azmi Bishara and a host of Al Jazeera named Ali الضفيري, who is, by the way, he is an activist journalist. I mean, it is well known that this man is not even a journalist, he's an activist. and he is probably the biggest bulldog that Al Jazeera has, and he attacks, in his writings, he attacks many people that Al Jazeera and Qatar wants to attack very viciously. So what you are at the sitting is, they were in the middle of an interview and they thought they went to break. So they're talking about what they had talked about, and they're talking about what they are going to talk about. And you will see that they're talking about where we shouldn't be talking about this. We're going to talk more about this. And then at one time, and this is really what made me very upset about the whole thing, is Azmi Bishara was actually telling him, we're going to talk about this, let's not talk about that. You know, if you are a thinker, and if you are an Arab world thinker, and someone that the Arabs look at you, you should not be choosing what countries you're going to talk about that are having problems and which way you are going to cover it. But the main thing that really disturbed me big time, but I knew all this. I knew what Al Jazeera is all about. But it was like, okay, this is it. This is what I have been waiting for. This is the proof that Al Jazeera is controlled. Al Jazeera is controlling these people, and Al Jazeera is controlling the minds and the brains of the Arab people to actually go out there and do the things they are doing.
بدون الأردن بلا.
اوكي احنا فاصل خلاص. احنا ما نعرف اني اوف اير ولا اون اير.
سمعت بدون الأردن، سمعت لتكون تقول أنا سمعت بدون الأردن. تقول أنا سمعت بدون الأردن.
لا من اللحظة دي كنا
بدون الأردن. احنا سوريا
بشكل.
البحرين ركزت عليها كثير. عندك عقد انت.
بس ممتاز.
طلعت لي كل عقدك.
والله ممتازة والله
كل قصصك مع السعودية طبعا.
بيض صفحة المؤسسة واسمع كمان اخوك الصغير، بيض صفحة المؤسسة. والله لو قعد 100 سنة ما قرأت كلام. بيض صفحة المؤسسة، هذا أهم شيء. لا بعد احنا هجمناهم، يعني هم نص تعليقاتهم مرضية يعني قبل ما يصير شيء وين الجزيرة كانوا، وهذا بسوريا اليوم يعني الكويتيين اللي ما طالبوا ثورة شغالين علينا، وين اللي كانوا طول عمرهم يهزموا.
هذا عم نحكي هاي انه طب ليش بتكون فجأة الجزيرة وهناك بتكون هيك بتمشي الامور؟ بس كيف لحد هلا؟
جدا والله جدا. شباب ابو زايد، انا ممكن نمدد الوقت شوي، ممكن بالنسبة لكم نمدد الوقت قليلا ولا؟
لأنه بدينا متأخر 7 دقائق.
40 اوكي خلاص. لا ممتاز.
لو هلا 45
باقي 40 دقيقة.
ايوه في 45 في بكفونا على سوريا 40 دقيقة بكفوا.
هذا اوكي اعتقد انه كافي صح. بديت امرك بس نبي نفلها ندخل المرات الجاية.
احنا ما حكيناش عن التدخل الغربي في ليبيا، لا عقد انا بجيبها بشي وقت.
طيب احنا جاهزين اذا اردتم.
التدخل الغربي لازم اجيبها بشي وقت.
دكتور فضلا الامر، عندك طاولة؟ ابو عمر في طاولة بس لان الكوب طالع 20 ثانية يعني. اهلا بكم من جديد مشاهدينا الكرام في هذا الحوار الخاص مع المفكر العربي الدكتور عزمي بشاره، مدير المركز العربي للابحاث ودراسه السياسات هنا في الدوحه. حديث على هامش كل هذه.
Now, those of you who speak Arabic, you probably shocked at what you heard. They were discussing how to and what to say about this and what to say about that, and don't talk about Jordan, and that was the beginning. So now we are going to play it, and I'm going to tell the producer to stop it so I can explain to you. We're not going to go through, I mean, just there's only like a couple of areas, maybe 3 times we're going to stop it so I can tell you what was said. And I just think this is the solid proof that Al Jazeera is manipulating the Arab world according to its master's wish. And let's roll the tape.
بدون الأردن بدون الأردن الأردن بلا.
Okay, stop it. Now, what he was, now remember, this is like after they had finished talking about, this is like during the break. And Azmi, who's the person was talking on the left of the screen, he was telling him, without Jordan, let's not talk about Jordan. Don't talk about Jordan. Roll.
اوكي احنا فاصل خلاص احنا ما نعرف اني اوف اير ولا اون اير.
سمعت
He's
بدون
saying,
الأردن
of course,
سمعت.
we don't know if we are on air or off
تقول
air.
سمعت بدون.
Okay, okay, stop it. Now, he was just asking him because, you know, he said, the host said, I don't know if we are off air or on air. Of course, he said that in English, so you understood that. But what Azmi asked him, now remember, in the beginning, he asked him, he said, without Jordan, let's not talk about Jordan. Remember, that day, there was a lot of stuff going on in Jordan. See, they are picking and choosing what countries to go and direct the attention of the Arab masses to. You know, it's like, let's not talk about Jordan. Let's not talk about Jordan. Because you see, Azmi has to go through Jordan a lot, and he doesn't want any problems with the Jordanians, because that's basically where his family live. That's where his livelihood is. That's where, if anything happens to him in Qatar, he will be in Jordan. So he wants to make sure that he is in good terms or on good terms with the Jordanian regime. So he said, let's not talk about Jordan. And now, after he said, the host said, you know, we don't know if we are on air or off air, he told him, he said, that wasn't, you don't think they heard it when I told you no Jordan. And the host told him, no, play.
تقول سمعت بدون
لا
الأردن.
لا من اللحظة ذيك كنا ما
بدون الأردن إحنا سوريا.
سوريا بشكل
البحرين ركزت عليها كثير. عندك عقد أنت.
بس ممتاز
طلعت لي كل عقدك.
والله ممتاز والله
كل عقدك مع السعودية طبعا.
بيض صفحة
Okay, now, what he's telling him, he said, yeah, we'll talk about Syria. And forget about Jordan, we'll talk about Syria. And apparently they had talked about Bahrain a lot. And see, Bahrain is a sticky situation. You know, Bahrain, there is also demonstrations. There's also problems in Bahrain. But Al Jazeera is not covering Al Bahrain the way it needs to be covered. They're not covering Al Bahrain like they are doing Yemen, or they did Egypt, or they did Tunisia. So he's telling him that now the host, you see the relationship. Now, when you go and be interviewed, and when he introduced him as Dr. Azmi Bishara, the Arabic thinker, and the president of the Arab Center for Research and Studies. That's a huge thing that they had made for him in Qatar. So they gave him a big title, so when he's talking, people listen. But what is going on behind the scenes is those people are telling him which way we want to talk, and he's very much telling them, let's not go there. So both of them are feeding on each other. And I guess the host have talked about Bahrain more than what he wanted to talk about. And he said, man, and Saudi Arabia, you know, you got to calm down. You know, you got me all your hang-ups on Saudi Arabia. You pushed them on me. Well, that kind of put him in a bad spot. It puts Azmi Bishara in a bad spot. But Ali Dhaferi wants to, that's the attack dog for Al Jazeera. Now, what Ali Dhaferi said is actually more important. What he responded when Azmi told him that, man, you got me, you know, you got out all your hang-ups on the Saudis, you got them all out on me. So calm down, stay away, and we're going to listen to what Ali الضفيري answered him at that time.
واسمع كلامنا اخوك الصغير بيض صفحه المؤسسه والله لو قعد 100 سنه ما قرأ كلامه بيض صفحه المؤسسه.
Okay.
هذا اهم شيء.
He's saying, now when he told them, apparently they kind of squeezed him a lot in the interview about Saudi Arabia, and he doesn't want to talk about Jordan. So he told him, he said, look, you talked a lot about Saudi Arabia, you know, calm down. So the host answers him, you did a great job. You very much brightened, he said it in Arabic, بيضت صفحة المؤسسة, which means you brightened our page. You brightened the page of the organization, talking about Al Jazeera, with what he said. See, they are, you know, this is commentary that is not just commentary. I don't have a problem with listening to commentators, but this is commentary to basically feed into that particular stations and its agenda and its Qatar's agenda in destroying these countries in the Middle East for the big master. Continue.
لا بعد احنا هجمناهم يعني هم نص تعليقاتهم مرضيه يعني قبل ما يصير شيء وين الجزيره كانوا وهذا بسوريا اليوم يعني الكويتيين اللي ما طالبوا الثوره شغالين علينا وين اللي كانوا طول عمرهم يهزمون.
هذا عم نحكي اياها هي انه طب ليش بتكون فجاه الجزيره وهناك بتكون هيك بتمشي الامور. بس كيف لحد هلا؟
جدا والله شباب ابو زايد.
Now at this moment, and that is the moment that I am talking about. They had all that exchange, and all of a sudden Azmi asks the host in such a way as asking for his approval to what he had talked about. He said, what do you think? How was it? بس كيف؟ يعني he's so proud that he has done his job the way they wanted him to do the job, because, you know, if anyone speaks Arabic, you will know the way you ask, just like in English, and your gestures mean more than words. So when he said, بس كيف, you know, as in, what do you think? In that kind of, and he answered him, you did very good. You did very good. Now, I don't know if you understood all that, but that's how they manipulate your brains. That's how Al Jazeera manipulates your brains. They do it here. They do it in their newscasters. They do it the way they bring all these people to speak. They do it on the way they cover this, and put cover in quotations because they do not cover news. These people actually make news happen, because the way they cover things, they are controlling the masses in the Middle East. They are controlling the masses, the Arab masses. It doesn't matter who it is, they can bring him down. Doesn't matter. Now, who wants all that happen? Of course, you know, in previous shows we have told you whose plan it is to destroy the Arab world, throw it into chaos, which, by the way, brings me into something. A couple of days ago, I was on an interview on an international channel, English international channel, Press TV. And the other person on that interview was Abdullah Al-Ash'al. We do have his a picture of him for those who know him in the Arab world.